The door creaked open like a gunshot in the silence of that rainy Seattle afternoon. And there he was, Alex, my stepson. His backpack thudding to the floor as his eyes locked onto the Polaroid slipping from my fingers. "What the hell is this?" he spat, his voice cracking like thunder, snatching the faded photo of me and Lena tangled in a forbidden kiss under the Space Needle, our faces young and fierce with a love that had scorched everything in its path. In that split second, the walls I'd built around my heart for 18 years crumbled, and the truth I'd buried deeper than my wife's grave spilled out like blood from an old wound. I froze on the couch, the weight of his stare pinning me like a butterfly to corkboard. Rain hammered the windows of our craftsman bungalow in Capitol Hill, the kind of relentless Pacific Northwest downpour that mirrored the storm brewing in Alex's eyes, blue like his father's, but sharper now, edged with the betrayal of a boy on the cusp of manhood. He was 19, home early from his freshman year at UW, his lanky frame filling the doorway with an accusation I couldn't dodge. The photo trembled in his grip, me at 22. Wild auburn hair whipping in the wind, my arm around Lena's waist, her dark curls framing a smile that promised forever. We'd been so damn alive then. Two baristas plotting revolutions over black coffee and dreams of escaping the straight-laced 90s. But forever had a price, and I'd paid it in silence. "Thea," his voice dropped, laced with something rawer than anger, hurt, the kind that festers when family fractures. He stepped forward, the floorboards groaning under his sneakers, and tossed the Polaroid onto the coffee table amid the scattered relics I'd unearthed that morning. Yellowed letters tied with twine, a mixtape cassette labeled for L Songs That Burn, and the dog-eared journal where I'd scrawled my confessions before marrying his father to bury them. I reached for the photo, my fingers brushing his, and for the first time, I saw not just the boy I'd raised, but the man he'd become, tall and uncertain, grappling with the legacy of lies. I swallowed hard, tasting the bitterness of coffee gone cold. "Alex, sit down. Please." My voice was steady, the therapist tone I'd honed over years of guiding lost souls through group sessions at the clinic. But inside, my chest caved like wet cardboard. He didn't move, just crossed his arms, his jaw set in that stubborn line he'd inherited from Tom God. Tom, my husband of 18 years. Gone 3 now from that aneurysm that stole him mid-laugh during a Mariners game. I'd promised him on our wedding night, under the gaze of his Baptist family, that I'd love his son like my own, shield him from the world's cruelties. But the cruelest cut had been my own secret, gnawing at me like termites in the foundation of our life. "You were with a woman." The words hung heavy, disbelief twisting his features. He wasn't yelling, that would have been easier. This was dissection, layer by layer, peeling back the myth of the perfect stepmom who'd baked his birthday cakes with rainbow sprinkles and cheered at his soccer games, rain or shine. I nodded, the motion small, as if denying it could rewind the tape. Her name was Lena. We met in college, in Portland. It was everything. He laughed then, a bitter bark that echoed off the bookshelves lined with Tom's dog-eared Hemingway and my well-thumbed Audre Lorde poetry. "Everything? While you were playing house with Dad, pretending to be the all-American wife at barbecues, quoting Bible verses with Mom's ghost hovering. His mother, Tom's first wife, the one who died in that car wreck when Alex was 6, had been the saint in our story. Her photo on the mantel a perpetual reminder of uncomplicated love. I'd stepped into her shadow willingly, or so I told myself, trading passion for stability, for Alex's sake. "Not pretending," I whispered, rising slowly, my knees protesting like they did after long shifts at the free clinic in Pioneer Square. 42. I was still lean from weekend hikes up Rattlesnake Ledge, my green eyes holding the ghosts of those trails where Lena and I had carved our initials into birch bark. Freckles dusted my nose, a remnant of Irish roots, but the lines around my mouth spoke of secrets swallowed. I loved your father, Alex, deeply. But Lena, she was my first real fire. And when she left, I thought burying it was the only way to keep breathing. He paced now, kicking at the edge of the rug, his sneakers scuffing the pattern his mother had chosen, floral, faded, a relic of simpler times. Why hide it? All these years, dropping hints about old friends in vague emails, staring off during pride parades like you were allergic. You let me think you were just sad about Dad. Not lying about who you are. The accusation landed like a slap, and tears pricked hot. I hadn't lied, not entirely. After Lena vanished into the ether of a bad breakup, her addiction pulling her under like the Willamette's current, I'd rebuilt in Seattle. Met Tom at a grief support group, his quiet strength a balm to my chaos. We married in a civil ceremony at Alki Beach, waves crashing like applause, Alex in a tiny suit clutching a seashell. I became Thea the steadfast, PTA mom, volunteer at the food bank, the woman who taught Alex to parallel park in the lot behind Dick's drive-in. But the box in the attic, sealed with duct tape, had whispered her name every spring, when the cherry blossoms bloomed and the city pulsed with possibility. Because I was scared, I admitted, my voice gaining steel. Scared of losing you. Of your grandparents cutting you off, like they did Tom when he questioned the church. Of this town chewing up queers and spitting out husks. Seattle in the 90s had been a haven compared to the Bible Belt I'd fled. But even here, whispers could wound. I'd seen it at the clinic, women like me, loving fiercely, only to face custody battles or family exile. Alex stopped pacing, sinking into the armchair across from me, his long legs folding like a collapsing accordion. He rubbed his face, stubble shadowing his jaw. When had he grown that? So what now? You gonna call her up? Play house for real? Leave me with the wreckage? The question gutted me. Wreckage? As if our life, the Sunday pancakes with Marionberry syrup, the road trip to Yellowstone where we'd howled at geysers like wolves was debris. No, I said softly, leaning forward, my hands clasped to keep from reaching for him. Lena's gone. Alex. Rehab in California. Last I heard. Clean. Maybe. But we haven't spoken in 15 years. This isn't about her. It's about me finally breathing. He looked up then. Really looked. And I saw the flicker, curiosity beneath the hurt. The boy who'd once asked why the rainbow flag flew so proudly. And I deflected with talk of equality. Then tell me. All of it. From the beginning. And so, as the rain softened to a drizzle, I did. I told him of Portland State, 1998, where I'd majored in social work, fueled by rage at my own closeted adolescence in Spokane. Lena was the TA in my psych class, 25 to my 21, with olive skin from her Mexican-Italian heritage, curves that commanded rooms, and eyes like smoked amber that saw through bullshit. We collided over late-night study sessions in her cramped apartment off Burnside, quoting bell hooks between stolen kisses that tasted like clove cigarettes and rebellion. She challenged me, I said, voice warming with memory. Said love wasn't a cage. even if society built one around it. We dreamed of opening a coffee shop, siren songs, serving lattes with poetry slams on weekends. But addiction crept in. Her father's shadow. And our fights turned vicious. One night, after she pawned my grandmother's ring for a fix, I walked away. Boarded a Greyhound to Seattle, vowing to build something straight-edged. Safe. Alex listened, chin in hand. The storm outside mirroring the one in his expression, gusts of anger giving way to uneasy calm. Dad knew. I hesitated. The lie I'd rehearsed 1,000 times dissolving. Not at first. But later. Yeah. He found the letters after you were asleep one Christmas. Held me while I cried. Said it didn't change us. He was my anchor. Tom's love had been steady. Like the fairies cutting Puget Sound. No fireworks but a quiet glow. We'd made it work. For Alex. For the life we'd stitched from scraps. By the time the sky bruised purple, Alex's questions had ebbed to silence. He stood, retrieving his backpack, but paused at the door. I need time. Thea. It's a lot. His hug was brief. Bony arms awkward. But it was there, a bridge. Fragile but intact. As he climbed the stairs to his old room, posters of Nirvana and Soundgarden peeling from the walls, I gathered the photos, tucking them back into their box. The truth was out. A Pandora's release. But in its wake, perhaps space for something real. For the first time in years, the house felt less like a tomb and more like a canvas blank, waiting for colors I'd long denied. That night, sleep evaded me, the clock ticking past 2 a.m. Like accusations. I slipped downstairs, the kitchen bathed in the fridge's hum, and poured a glass of the cheap Chardonnay Tom had liked. Sipping at the sink, staring at the backyard where fireflies no longer danced in November chill, I wondered if Alex's discovery was a curse or a key. My phone buzzed on the counter, an unknown number. California area code. Heart slamming. I answered. Thea? It's Lena. Her voice, husky from years of smoke and survival, sliced through the static. I saw your name in a group chat from the old clinic. Heard about Tom. I'm sorry. And I miss you. The world tilted. Miss me? After the wreckage she'd left. The letters unanswered. The silence that had forced me into Tom's arms? Lena. I breathed. Gripping the counter. Knuckles white. Why now? Because life's too short for regrets, she said. And I could picture her 47 now. Silver threading her curls. Laugh lines etching wisdom around those amber eyes. I'm sober 5 years. Running a halfway house in Oakland. And I never stopped loving you. The words ignited something dormant. A spark in dry tinder. Sure. Alex slept, oblivious to the fault line cracking beneath us. I ended the call with a promise to think. But dawn found me pacing. The pull of what-ifs warring with the anchor of family. Days blurred into a tense truce. Alex buried himself in textbooks, emerging for meals where we'd skirt the edges of conversation. Weather, Mariners scores, the new Ethiopian place on Broadway. But undercurrents swirled. I'd catch him eyeing the mantle photo of Tom and me at our wedding. His brow furrowed like he was recalculating sums. One evening, as I chopped onions for chili, tears masking tears, the back door banged open. Alex stormed in, rain-slicked, clutching a manila envelope. Found this in Dad's old desk. While cleaning. He slapped it down. Papers spilling, Tom's will. Notarized post-diagnosis. With a codicil. He knew everything. Thea. And he wanted you free. The words blurred through my tears. Tom had written, "To my beloved Thea, live your truth, as you let me live mine. Alex is ours, but your heart is yours. Forgive yourself." Dated months before the aneurysm. Witnessed by his lawyer buddy from the firm. Alex's voice broke. "He didn't tell me." "Why?" "Because he loved you too much to burden you," I said, pulling him into a hug that he didn't resist this time. We stood there. Onions forgotten. The kitchen filling with the scent of simmering beef and unspoken grief. And because he knew I'd chicken out without a push. That night, over bowls of chili by the fire, Alex asked about Lena, not accusations, but genuine curiosity. What was she like? Really? I smiled. The first real one in days. Fierce. Like a storm you chase, not hide from. Taught me to salsa in her tiny kitchen. Blasting Celia Cruz till the neighbors banged pots. He chuckled. Tentative. You gonna see her? The question hung. A crossroads. Maybe. You'll come with. Meet the woman who shaped your stepmom before I was yours. His nod was slow. But there. Yeah. Family road trip? Like Yellowstone. But with more drama. Laughter bubbled up, easing the knot in my chest. Seattle's lights twinkled beyond the window. A city of reinventions. And for the first time, I felt the pull not as a betrayal, but a homecoming. Weeks later, the drive south felt like unraveling a sweater, one thread at a time. The shape of us emerging. Alex drove the old Subaru. Its heater blasting against the coastal fog rolling in from Astoria. While I navigated with a battered Rand McNally. The kind Tom swore by before GPS stole the romance. We'd packed light. My duffel with sensible jeans and the one slinky dress from our honeymoon. Alex's with hoodies and a dog-eared copy of the bell jar he'd borrowed from my shelf. No fanfare. Just a post-it on the fridge. Road trip. Back soon. Love. TNA. Thea and Alex. It rolled off the tongue now. Unburdened. You think she'll remember me? He asked. Merging onto I-5. The Willamette Valley unfolding in emerald waves under a sky the color of Lena's eyes. As the kid who ate all her tamales at that one picnic? How could she forget? I teased. But my pulse quickened at the exit for Oakland. Memories flooded. Lena's laugh echoing into Carious. Her hand in mine during protests for marriage equality. The way she'd whisper me a more like a prayer. We hit the Bay Area at rush hour. Bridges groaning under the weight of dreams deferred. Lena's halfway house squatted in Fruitvale. A converted Victorian with murals of Aztec warriors and rainbow flags fluttering from the porch. As we parked, my stomach twisted, fear, excitement, the cocktail of second chances. She was on the steps, waiting. 47 suited her, curls streaked silver like comet tails, fuller figure wrapped in a flowing maxi dress printed with sunflowers, amber eyes crinkling as she rose. Thea, she breathed, pulling me into an embrace that smelled of sage and sandalwood. Her curves soft against my angles. Time hadn't erased the fit. It was like slipping into an old leather jacket. Worn but perfect. And you must be the legend, she said, turning to Alex with a grin that lit her face. He blushed, extending a hand she enveloped in a hug. Lena. Heard stories. Good ones. Mostly. We toured the house, women in recovery painting walls, Kids' toys scattered in the yard, a testament to her fight. Dinner was pozole in the communal kitchen, steam rising like ghosts banished. Stories flowed, my clinic tales, Alex's poli-sci rants, Lena's journey through the 12 steps, each confession a brick in a new wall, sturdy against storms. That night, Alex crashed in a guest room, leaving Lena and me on the porch swing, a bottle of non-alcoholic wine between us. "You look good, T," she murmured, her fingers tracing mine. "Seattle agreed with you." "Or I agreed with it," I replied, leaning into her shoulder, the warmth seeping through years. "But you. This place. You're a force." Her kiss was tentative at first. Question. Then deepening with the certainty of rivers finding sea. Fireworks behind my eyelids. The kind Tom had never sparked. But guilt flickered too. Had I betrayed him by blooming here? Inside. Doubts not. Alex's snores filtered through the screen. A reminder of the boy upstairs. The life we'd built on half-truths. What if this reignited old flames only to scorch him again? Morning brought clarity. Or its illusion. Over huevos rancheros, Alex cornered me. "You too. It's real." "Huh, not just nostalgia." I nodded, throat tight. "Feels like coming home. But you're my home too, kid." "This doesn't change that." He squeezed my hand, eyes earnest. "Then don't let it. Dad would have wanted you happy." "How?" "He'd probably grill her on her salsa recipe." Laughter eased the tension. But as we hugged goodbye, Lena promising a visit, me vowing to call daily, the drive north carried undercurrents. Alex fiddled with the radio, landing on an old Indigo Girls track. The lyrics about closer to fine hitting like prophecy. "You think Mom would have hated this?" he asked suddenly. Voice small. His real mom. The ghost. "Nah," I said, watching furs blur past. "She was the one who taught you to love big. This is just." Expanding the circle. Back in Seattle, life resumed with ripples. I introduced Lena via video calls, her face pixelated but beaming on Alex's screen during study breaks. He warmed slowly, texting her Mariners scores, her replies laced with Spanglish puns. But conflict brewed elsewhere. My in-laws, Tom's parents, the stern duo from Bellevue who'd viewed me as the nice widow placeholder. It erupted at Thanksgiving. Their annual edict delivered via email. Family dinner. 4 p.m. sharp. No plus ones. But Lena flew up. Undaunted. Her suitcase packed with empanadas and resolve. The dining room, with its turkey centerpiece and crystal from Tom's mother, crackled like dry leaves. Eleanor, silver coiffed and pearl clutched, froze at the sight of Lena's hand in mine. "Who's this?" she asked, voice iced tea sweet with venom. "My partner," I said, chin up, Alex flanking me like a sentinel. "Lena." "She's family." The silence stretched, broken by Harold's cough. "Partner? As in? Love," Alex interjected, his fork clattering. "Like Dad loved Thea." "Get with it, Grandma." Eleanor's gasp was theatrical, but her eyes wet, wounded, betrayed the fear beneath bigotry. Tom would roll in his grave. "No," I countered, voice steady as the sound. "He'd be toasting with that awful scotch he hid." He knew. Eleanor. And he chose us anyway. The meal devolved into strained small talk. Lena's grace diffusing barbs with stories of her work, Alex's quips landing like lifelines. But as pie was served, Eleanor pulled me aside in the powder room, her reflection fractured in the mirror. "We lost Sarah young," she whispered. "Tom's first wife. Then Tom. Don't take our boy too." "I'm not taking," I said gently, touching her arm. "I'm giving him a fuller life. One with love. Messy as it is." She nodded, tears spilling. "And later, over coffee," asked Lena haltingly about her house for lost souls. Tentative as spring. But betrayal lurked in shadows. December brought snow to the Olympics, blanketing the city in hush. And with it, a letter from Lena's ex. A woman named Carla I'd glimpsed in old photos. The one who'd pulled her into the deep end post me. It arrived forwarded. Innocuous at first. "Heard you're seeing Thea. Careful, she's a runner." Doubt-seated. Was history rhyming? I confronted her over FaceTime. Screen glowing in the dark bedroom. "Carla's poison. T. Jealous ghost. But are you?" The words escape. Raw. "Clean from everything?" Her face crumpled. "Mostly. Slipped last month, pills for a toothache. Stupid. But I called my sponsor. Told you everything else." Bells hung. A chasm. Trust. Fragile as eggshell. Cracked. "I can't lose Alex to this. Lena." "Not again." "I'm not her," she pleaded. "I'm me flawed. Fighting. Love me through it." I hung up, heart pounding, and drove to Alex's dorm unannounced. The campus lights strung like regrets. He met me in the quad, breath fogging in the cold. "What's wrong?" "Everything," I confessed, spilling the fracture. He listened, snow dusting his beanie, then hugged me fierce. "You're not running, Thea. You're choosing. But choose smart for you. For us." His words anchored, and I called her back at dawn. Voice steel-wrapped velvet. "We do this together. Therapy. Check-ins. The works. No more shadows. Deal," she whispered. And in her voice, I heard the vow. Christmas Eve. We strung lights on the bungalow. Alex teasing Lena's wonky garland skills via video. The tree twinkled with ornaments, Tom's beer stein, Alex's childhood crafts. A new star from Lena etched reborn. As midnight mass carols drifted from neighbors, I realized the climax wasn't the reveal, but this, forgiveness woven into resilience. Yet drama peaked New Year's, when Eleanor called, voice quavering. "Harold's had a stroke. Call me. Both of you." The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and pine from a bedside wreath. Harold lay pale, tubes snaking, but his grip on Lena's hand was firm when she offered. "Heard about your work," he rasped. "Good. World needs more fighters." Eleanor wept openly, clutching my sleeve. "Forgive an old fool?" "Already did," I said, and meant it. Human frailty bound us, queers and straights, in the grand American mess of love and loss. Spring bloomed with cherry petals carpeting Capitol Hill, and Lena moved north, her halfway expertise bolstering my clinic. Alex graduated with honors, his speech quoting Lord on silences as weapons, glancing at me with pride that swelled my chest. One hike up Discovery Park, Lena and I paused at the overlook, sound glittering below. "Worth the wait?" she asked, twining fingers. "Every scar," I replied, kissing her as gulls wheeled overhead. Alex, trailing with his camera, snapped us framed against infinity, a family reforged. But life, that sly bastard, had one more twist. Summer solstice. A package arrived. Lena's journal from our Portland days, mailed by Carla in a final spiteful purge. Pages chronicled not just our blaze, but a pregnancy hers, lost to miscarriage amid the haze, a secret she buried to spare me. Why? I demanded, journal trembling in my grip, Alex at my side for support. Fear, she admitted, tears carving tracks. You were building a life. Didn't want to chain you with ghosts. Betrayal stung. But deeper. The humanity of it, her protection. Flawed but fierce. No more secrets, I said, pulling her close. We carry them together. Alex nodded, arm around us both. Yeah. Team Truth. In the end, the story wasn't mine alone, but ours, a tapestry of hidden fires, unearthed bones, and loves that endured, not despite the cracks, but because of them. Seattle's rains would fall again, but we'd dance in them, unapologetic, alive. The summer of 2026 unfurled like a flag of truce. Lazy days bleeding into barbecues on the deck where Lena's grill mastery turned portobellos into revelations. Alex, now interning at a nonprofit in Pioneer Square, brought home stories of evictions and dreams deferred. His passion a mirror to the activist I'd been before compromise dulled the edges. We'd sit late, fireflies winking in the hydrangeas, debating policy over IPAs. Lena's non-alcoholic cider a constant, her commitment a quiet roar. But beneath the idol, fissures lingered. My in-laws' acceptance was polite, laced with the unspoken. Eleanor's emails now included recipes with footnotes like "Tom loved this," a tether to the past. Harold recovered enough for golf. His calls to Alex peppered with gruff advice. But when Lena joined a family brunch, his jokes landed awkward, probing. "You're sure about her?" he asked me once, post-stroke slur softening the judgment. Tom was steady. "This one's fire. Steady's good for kindling," I replied, squeezing his hand. "But fire's what warms," he chuckled. A wheeze of concession. But doubt seed took root elsewhere in me. When Lena's snores filled the bedroom, our room now, the king from Tom's era ironic throne, I traced the journal's scars, wondering at roads not taken. What if I'd chased her then? No Tom. No Alex. A selfish calculus. But it haunted. The climax crashed in August. Heat wave baking the city into torpor. Alex's birthday when a milestone loomed, and I planned a surprise, tickets to the Folklife Festival. Lena's mariachi connections promising a serenade under the Space Needle, full circle to that Polaroid kiss. But eve of disaster struck. A call from the clinic. Lena, caught in a raid on a supplier tied to her old circle. Not using delivering vaccines to the house. But optics damned her. Suspicious from her record. Hauled her in for questioning, the halfway house's funding teetering on exposure. I raced downtown. Alex in tow. The precinct's fluorescence buzzing like angry bees. She sat cuffed to a table. Defiance in her tilt. But eyes pleading when we entered. Misunderstanding. I swear, the detective, a burly type with a mustache like a 70s cop show, laid it out. Anonymous tip Carla. No doubt claiming relapse. planted evidence. She's clean, I argued. Flashing sponsor letters. Test results. This is harassment. Hours blurred, lawyers called. Bail scraped from savings. Released at dawn. Lena crumbled in the car. Head in hands. I'm poison. Told you. No, Alex snapped from the back. Fierce. Your family. We fight dirty too. Home. We barricaded. Calls to allies. Petitions circling. But the betrayal cut deepest. Carla's final card. Played from afar. A venomous echo of past abandonments. Why her? I demanded later. Alone with Lena on the porch. Stars pricking the smog. Jealousy. I left her for this, for us. Her voice broke. But if I drag you down, you don't. I cupped her face. Thumbs brushing tears. We rise. Together. The conflict peaked at the hearing. Courthouse in Kentesterile Arena. Eleanor and Harold appeared. Unbidden. Their presence a silent vote. Carla slunk him back. Eyes darting like a cornered fox. Testimonies flew. My clinic vouching Lena's impact. Alex's speech a raw 20-year-old thunder. She's the aunt I never had. Teaching me love isn't perfect. But it's real. Don't punish healing. The gavel fell. Dismissed. Charges fabricated. Carla slunk out. Unprosecuted but exposed. Her malice a boomerang. Outside. Under overcast skies. Eleanor's hug enveloped Lena. Strong woman. Like my Sarah. Healing hummed. But romance reignited in embers. That night. Festival lights bathed us in gold. Mariachi horns blaring Cielito Lindo. Alex whooping as Lena twirled me. Skirt flaring. Our laughter a symphony. Happy birthday. Kid. I yelled over the crowd. Pulling him into the dance. Strangers cheered. A microcosm of Seattle's eclectic heart, queer couples. Families of choice. The American dream reimagined. Fall deepened bonds. Lena co-led workshops at the clinic. Her stories of rock bottom inspiring women like the ones I'd once been closeted. Crumbling. Alex dated a barista named Jordan. Non-binary and sharp-witted. Their hand-holding at dinner a quiet evolution. Learned from the best, he quipped. Winking. Yet humanism's core lay in the quiet fractures mended. One November Eve. Mirroring that fateful rain. We gathered Tom's ashes, scattered half at Alki. Half saved from the mantle urn. At the beach. Waves lapping like confessions. Alex read Tom's codicil aloud. Voice steady. To living true. We poured the remains into the tide. Lena's hand in mine. Eleanor's scarf fluttering nearby. To all of it, she toasted. Flask raised. The loves. The losses. No grand tragedy. No fairy tale bow. Just us flawed. Fierce walking the shore. Footprints mingling in wet sand. Thea. No longer step anything. But whole lover. Mother. Survivor. Years later. Alex's wedding to Jordan. Under a chuppah hybrid of cultures, saw Lena walking me down the non-aisle. Our commitment ceremony the week prior a simple affair at City Hall. Rings etched with burn bright. He caught my eye mid-vows. Mouthing proud. And the circle closed. In the end, the truth uncovered wasn't destruction. But dawn. A light revealing not monsters. But mirrors. In America's vast, bruised heart, where rainbows arch over relentless rains, we learned love's deepest lesson. It's not hidden flames that define us, but the courage to let them illuminate the dark.